Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to High Q, the show where being smarter than a fifth grader just doesn't cut it. I am your hostess with the almostest, Olivia Manning, and on today's episode we are joined by two very special teams. Let's meet them. On the bottom we have Cumberland with Jad, Mitchell, and the Wonder Twins, Rylan and Camden. And on the top we have Team Fortitude with Peter, Emma, Blake, and Layla. Hello, teams. For those of you who don't know, we'll do a quick recap of the rules. I will begin with a series of toss-up questions. Both teams have 10 seconds to buzz in and answer for a total of 10 points. The team that answers the toss-up question correctly then gets the chance at a bonus question, in which they can receive 20 questions, or the other team has a chance to steal for 10 questions. We will also have spliced in math questions, media questions, and the lightning round, but we'll get to those when we get to those. Most important rule, the foreboding interruption rule. If I am giving a question and you buzz in before I am finished reading the question, if you get it right, nothing happens. You win your points and we move on. However, if you are incorrect, 5 points automatically goes to the other team and they get a chance to answer the question. So, if you interrupt me, just be right and we won't have any issues. All right. Are we ready to high Q?
Yes,
Let's
indeed.
go. First toss-up question. What year saw the shooting of protesters at the Plaza de las Tres Culturas, the Mexico City Olympics, and the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy? Blake.
1976.
1976 is incorrect. Cumberland, would you like to answer? Camden.
1978.
1978 is incorrect. We were looking for 1968. No points going into our second toss-up question. What quantity, which is proportional to a system's number of microstates, is a state function denoted S that is a measure of randomness or disorder? Mitchell.
Entropy.
Entropy is correct. Your bonus question, Cumberland. By atomic mass, the heaviest element currently known is what noble gas whose atomic symbol is OG?
Oganescence.
Oganescence is correct. 30 points for Cumberland. What author wrote about Rob Horton's discovery of a caged beast in The Tiger Rising and depicted a princess saved by a mouse in The Tale of Despero? Blake.
William Blake.
William Blake is incorrect, Cumberland. Looking for the author of The Tiger Rising and The Tale of Despero. No answer? All right. The answer we were looking for was Kate DiCamillo. In Greek myth, what king of Phrygia was rewarded for helping a friend of Dionysus by getting his wish of having everything he touched? Blake.
Midas.
King Midas is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. What chief of the Nez Perce declared he would fight no more forever after resisting the U.S. government's efforts to forcibly remove his tribe?
Red Cloud.
Red Cloud is incorrect. Cumberland, would you like to take a chance to steal?
Geronimo.
Geronimo is incorrect. The answer we were looking for was Chief Joseph, or Young Joseph. Our fifth toss-up question. What 2023 film in which Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa, seeks revenge on Dom's crew was the latest installment in a street Rylan?
Fast and Furious.
I need you to be a little bit more specific than
Fast
that.
and Furious 10.
Fast and Furious 10 is correct. We also would have accepted Fast X. Your bonus question, Cumberland. What theorem's equation is the same as the one in the Pythagorean theorem when the exponent n equals 2?
Distance.
Distance is incorrect. Fortitude?
Binomial theorem.
Binomial theorem is incorrect. We were looking for Fermat's last theorem. We are into the first media question of today's episode. If I could draw your attention to the television. This American media mogul, actress Blake.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey is correct. Please draw your attention away from the television. What invertebrate phylum's members, many of whom use a radula to feed, often have an external calcium shell and include clams and snails? Layla.
Mollusks.
Mollusks is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. The dragons Thorn and Saphira fight above the burning plains of Allegasia in what author's 2005 novel Eldest, which is part of his inheritance cycle?
Christopher Paulin. Paulin.
That is incorrect. Cumberland.
Paulini.
Paulini is correct. Christopher Paulini. That is a steal from Cumberland. Our next toss-up. What president, whose term is often called the era of good feelings, ran virtually unopposed in 1820 and proposed a namesake foreign policy doctrine? Jad.
Monroe.
Monroe is correct. Your bonus question, Cumberland. What Big Ten school's basketball team, which is coached by Matt Painter, lost to 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson in the 2023 NCAA tournament?
Big Ten. Purdue.
Purdue University is correct. Our next toss-up. In October 2023, what California politician who gave security video of the January 6th riots to Tucker Carlson was deposed as Speaker of the House? Camden.
McCarthy.
McCarthy is correct. Our bonus question. In 2024, Lockheed Martin introduced the X-59, a supersonic plane designed to not produce what loud noises caused by shockwaves?
Sonic Boom.
Sonic booms is correct. Cumberland running away with it. Welcome to your first math question. Contestants, pencil and paper ready. What is the positive root of the quadratic equation x squared minus x minus 12, given the other root is -3? Layla.
3.
3 is incorrect. Cumberland. X squared. Rylan.
2.
2 is incorrect. The answer we were looking for was 4. Away from math questions for a second. What epic poem, which begins with the adventures of the Lady Una and the virtuous Red Cross Knight Emma? I'm sorry, Emma, you are out of time. That is 5 points to Cumberland. Cumberland, I will reread the question for you so you can have a chance to answer. What epic poem, which begins with the adventures of the Lady Una and the virtuous Red Cross Knight, was written in the 1590s by Edmund Spenser? Camden.
Fairy Queen.
Fairy Queen is correct. Your bonus question, Cumberland. What term from anthropology, derived from Latin for outside marriage, denotes a system in which people find spouses from outside of a social group?
Just take a guess.
An answer, Cumberland? Not even a little guess?
No answer.
All right. Fortitude, the chance to steal.
Aerogamy.
Origami is incorrect. We were looking for exogamy. Close, but no Latin cigar. Our second media question. The television. This celebrity is a British...
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay is correct. What leader who launched a global infrastructure project called Belt the Road and ended the two-child policy in 2021, Blake?
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. What surname is shared by former Filipino dictator Ferdinand and his son, nicknamed Bong Bong, who was elected president of the Philippines in 2022?
Maduro.
Maduro is incorrect. Cumberland, the chance to steal.
Lopez.
Lopez is incorrect. Marcos was the answer we were looking for. Ferdinand and Bong Bong Marcos. Our next question. What molecules that bind at A, P, and E sites in the ribosome are a form of RNA that brings amino acids to a protein chain during a translation? Layla.
Amino acids.
Amino acids is incorrect. Cumberland? Rylan.
Carrier molecules.
carrier molecules, sorry, is incorrect. We were looking for tRNAs, transfer RNAs. Question 13. What Chinese dynasty, whose first emperor adopted legalism as a state philosophy, ended the Warring States period and was followed by the Han dynasty? Layla.
Shang Dynasty.
Shang dynasty is incorrect. Cumberland?
Tan.
Han dynasty is incorrect. We were looking for the Qin dynasty. All right, do you hear that rumbling in the distance? That means it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our lightning round. The way that the lightning round works is a little bit different from toss-ups. You will be given an option of a few topics to choose from. You will then choose from those topics which you would like to answer in 60 seconds, 10 questions related to that topic. That was a lot of me saying the word topic. Hopefully it's as clear as mud. Since you are trailing behind Team Fortitude, you get first pick as to what topic you would like to choose from. Your options are SI units, nude paintings, song collaborations, and Switzerland.
SI units, please.
SI units, all right. Given a quantity, identify its base or derived SI unit. Your 60 seconds begins in 3, 2, 1. Length.
Meter.
Correct. Time.
Second.
Correct. Frequency.
Pass.
Resistance.
Ohm.
Correct. Power.
Volt.
Incorrect. Pressure.
Pascal.
Correct. Capacitance.
Ampere.
Incorrect. Mass.
Gram.
Incorrect. Magnetic flux.
Pass.
Luminous intensity.
Ampere.
Incorrect. Back to the questions you missed. Frequency.
Deferred to Peter.
Pass.
All right. Magnetic flux.
Ohm.
Incorrect. Frequency once again.
Hertz.
Hertz is correct, and that is all the questions from that category. All right, going back to the questions that you missed. The correct SI unit for power is watts. The correct SI unit for capacitance is farad, and the correct SI unit for mass is kilogram, not gram. The kilogram is the only prefixed SI unit. Magnetic flux is Weber, or Weber, and luminous intensity is candela. Solid performance by Team Fortitude. Let's see if Cumberland can one-up it. Once again, your options are nude paintings, song collaborations, and Switzerland.
Go for it. Nude paintings.
Nude paintings. All right. Who painted these nudes? Your 60 seconds begins in 3, 2, 1. The Birth of Venus, painted in Italy in the 1480s.
Botticelli.
That is correct. The Creation of Adam in the Sistine Chapel.
Michelangelo.
That is correct. Blue Nude and La Danse. He co-founded Fauvism.
Matisse.
Matisse is correct. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, an early work of Cubism.
Picasso.
That is correct. Olympia and Luncheon on the Grass.
Manet.
Correct. Venus of Urbino and Sacred and Profane Love.
Titian.
Correct. Spirit of the Dead Watching, painted in Tahiti.
Kahlo.
Incorrect. Young Spartans exercising and many paintings of ballerinas.
Rubens.
Incorrect. The Swimming Hole and the Gross Clinic.
Eakins.
Correct. The Rokeby Venus and Las Meninas.
Velasquez.
Velasquez is correct, and that is all of the questions from that category. We were fast this lightning round. Really went by. All right, your incorrect answers. Spirit of the Dead Watching, painted in Tahiti, was by Paul Gauguin. And Young Spartans Exercising and Many Paintings of Ballerinas was Edgar Degas. An incredibly fast lightning round for both teams, and we are back to our toss-ups. What position is managed by a person called a camerlengo between the death of one holder and the election of another one by the College of Cardinals? Blake.
Pope.
Pope is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. Belly Conklin navigates a love triangle with brothers Jeremiah and Conrad in what Amazon Prime Video series based on a YA trilogy by Jenny Han? YA trilogy, sorry.
The importance of being a wallflower?
The importance of being a wallflower is incorrect. Cumberland, the chance to steal.
No answer.
All right, the answer we were looking for was the summer I turned pretty. What river, which is fed by the Lualaba, is the second longest river in Africa and gives its name to a country whose capital, Jad.
Congo.
Congo River is correct. Your bonus question, Cumberland. In 1936, Italian forces deposed what emperor of Ethiopia, who is regarded as an incarnation of God by the Rastafari movement? Cumberland, you are out of time. Fortitude, the chance to steal.
Musa.
Musa is incorrect. We were looking for Haile Selassie. Our next media question, as always, the television. Sony Pictures released this animated family comedy adventure film in 2017 starring emojis. Layla.
Emoji Movie.
The Emoji Movie is correct. Away from the TV, back to me. What Christian holiday, also called Whitsunday, celebrates the Holy Spirit descending on the apostles?
Pentecost.
Pentecost is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. What man's plum pudding model of the atom featured electrons which he discovered embedded in a sphere of positively charged matter?
Buzz.
Buzz?
Defer to Layla.
Rutherford.
Rutherford is incorrect. Cumberland.
Dalton.
Dalton is incorrect. We were looking for J.J. Thompson. Joseph John Thompson. Our next question. What 1882 law, formalized by the Geary Act in 1892, reacted to fears of coolie labor by banning or excluding immigration from a certain Asian country?
Is that the Chinese Exclusion Act?
That is, in fact, the Chinese Exclusion Act. Your bonus question. What painting, set in Spain in 1808, shows a man in white facing a firing squad and was created by Francisco Goya?
The 5th of May?
The 5th of May is incorrect. Cumberland?
The 3rd of May.
I'm going to need you to be a little
1808.
bit more specific.
3rd of May, 1808.
3rd of May, 1808 is correct. Close, Fortitude, but once again, no 1808 cigar. Our next toss-up question. There are 14 diagonals in what regular polygon, whose internal angles each measure about 128.57 degrees, and which has one more side than a hexagon? Blake.
Septagon?
Septagon is correct. We also would have accepted heptagon. Our bonus question for Team Fortitude. In 1868, what U.S. president was impeached for violating the Tenure of Office Act, but was saved from removal by a single vote?
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson is correct. Fortitude slowly but surely catching up to Cumberland. Our next toss-up question. What author of the picture book Sea Prayer wrote about the friendship between Hassan and Amir, boys who grew up in Afghanistan in The Kite Runner? Camden. All right, Camden, run out of time. Fortitude. Blake.
Smith.
Smith is incorrect. We were looking for Khaled Hosseini. What monarch oversaw the annexation of Silesia and
Frederick the Great.
Frederick the Great is correct. Your bonus question. Uranium-238 is converted into thorium-234 through what process that results in the emission of a particle with mass number 4?
Alpha decay.
Alpha decay is correct. Congratulations, Cumberland. Our next media question, the Loyal Television. This 2014 3D animated movie was directed by Rylan.
Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Mr. Peabody and Sherman is correct. Off TV, back to me. What article of the Constitution, which was partly modified by the 17th Amendment, describes how bills become law and created the legislative branch?
Article 1.
Article 1 is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. What poem, whose speaker admits to being half in love with easeful death, is addressed to an immortal bird and was written by John Keats?
The Phoenix.
The Phoenix is incorrect. Cumberland, chance to steal.
Ode to a Nightingale.
Ode to a Nightingale is correct. Fantastic steal from Team Cumberland. Next toss-up question. What body, which was discovered by Clyde Tombaugh in 1930, is orbited by the moon Charon and was reclassified in 2006 as a dwarf planet?
Pluto.
Pluto is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. In 2023, the fishing season for what animals was canceled for a second straight year due to a population crisis, costing Alaskans $130 million?
Salmon.
Salmon is incorrect. Cumberland, chance to steal.
Trout.
Trout is incorrect. We were looking for snow crabs. What musician sings "I Want to See the World When I Stop Breathing, Turnin' Blue" on Listen Before I Go, a song she co-wrote with her brother Phineas? Camden.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish is correct. Your bonus question. During an 1864 battle, in what bay in Alabama did Admiral David Farragut command "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead"?
Mobile.
Mobile is correct. What city that is home to McGill University lies partly on Ile Bazaar in the St. Lawrence River and is the most populous city in Quebec? Rylan.
Quebec City.
Quebec City is incorrect. Fortitude. Most populous city in Quebec.
Toronto.
Toronto is incorrect. We were looking for Montreal. What vitamin, whose deficiency can cause bowed legs in children who develop rickets, is synthesized by the skin when it interacts? Peter.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D is correct. Your bonus question, Fortitude. What sheep was successfully cloned in Scotland in 1996, becoming the first mammal cloned from an adult somatic cell?
Dolly.
Dolly is correct. Love that sheep. Media question. The television. This DreamWorks produced animated...
Boss Baby.
The Boss Baby is correct. Look at that face. Isn't that a face you'd give all your assets to? Next, toss-up question. What man wrote the St. Paul's Suite in 1913 to honor the English girls' school where he taught and depicted Mars, the bringer of war? Rylan.
Holst.
Holst is correct. Your bonus question. What member of The Five was a Russian composer whose opera The Tale of Tsar Sultan includes the Flight of the Bumblebees? Sorry.
Rimsky-Korsakov.
Rimsky-Korsakov is correct. Your next toss-up. What man who created the newspaper El Macriado worked with Dolores Huerta to form the United Farm Workers? Rylan.
Caesar.
Gonna need you to be a little bit more specific.
No answer.
All right. Fortitude, would you like to be a little more specific?
Can you reread the question real quick?
Absolutely. What man who created the newspaper El Macriado worked with Dolores Huerta to form the United Farm Workers and was a Mexican-American organizer?
Lopez.
Lopez is incorrect. Cesar was correct. We were looking for Cesar Chavez. Next toss-up. And this is the last question of our game, so make it count. What author described a phenomenon that looks over harbor and city and comes on little cat feet in fog? Peter.
Robert Louis Stevenson.
That is incorrect. 5 extra points to Cumberland.
Sorry.
It's all right. Happens to the best of us. Cumberland, I will now reread the question. What author described a phenomenon that looks over harbor and city and comes on little cat feet in fog? A poem from his collection, Chicago Poems. Camden.
Sandberg.
Sandberg is correct. What 20th century English author wrote about Charles Ryder's friendship with troubled aristocrat Sebastian Flyte in the novel Brideshead Revisited?
Waugh.
Waugh is correct. I hear that doorbell in the distance, that beautiful, beautiful doorbell, which means that we are out of time for this episode of HiQ. Let's look at our scores. Trailing behind with 230 points, we have Team Fortitude, and the winner of today's episode with 370 points is Team Cumberland. Congratulations to Team Cumberland, but good work all around. My name is Olivia Manning, reminding you that knowledge rules. Good evening and good night.